Welcome to Hollywood Secrets Information, the place where the golden past of television comes alive again, but not always the way you remember it. Have you ever wondered what really happened to the beloved cast of Little House on the Prairie after the cameras stopped rolling? The show gave us warmth, family values, and unforgettable characters who felt like part of our own lives. But behind the peaceful fields and heartfelt stories, many of these stars face struggles, heartbreak, and in some cases, truly tragic endings. In today's video, we're taking you on an emotional journey, then and now, 2026, to uncover the real-life stories of the cast members. From rising to fame at a young age to battling personal demons, financial hardships, and devastating losses, this is the side of Hollywood that rarely gets talked about. Some of these actors lived long, fulfilling lives, while others were taken far too soon under heartbreaking circumstances. Now, let's begin with the unforgettable cast of Little House on the Prairie. 1. Michael Landon. Michael Landon, the heart and soul of Little House on the Prairie, was much more than just Charles Ingalls. He was the creative force behind the show as an actor, writer, and director. Born Eugene Maurice Orowitz in 1936, Landon had a difficult childhood, growing up with a mentally ill mother and facing constant emotional stress. Despite this, he rose to fame through Bonanza before creating one of television's most beloved family dramas. After Little House, he continued his success with Highway to Heaven, becoming a symbol of warmth and moral storytelling in Hollywood. However, behind his charming on-screen persona, Landon struggled with heavy smoking and personal pressures. Tragically, in 1991, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, one of the deadliest forms of cancer. His condition worsened rapidly, and he passed away at just 54 years old. His death shocked fans worldwide, cutting short the life of a man who brought comfort and inspiration to millions. Today, Michael Landon is remembered not just as an actor, but as a television legend whose legacy continues to live on. 2. Karen Grassel. Karen Grassel, who portrayed the loving and resilient Caroline Ingalls, became an iconic television mother through her role. Born in 1942, she had a strong background in theater before landing her breakthrough role on Little House on the Prairie. While she appeared graceful and composed on screen, her life behind the scenes was far more complicated. After the show ended, Grassel faced challenges in maintaining the same level of fame in Hollywood. She later revealed struggles with alcoholism, which affected both her personal and professional life. Despite these hardships, she eventually found strength, overcame addiction, and rebuilt her life with dignity. She continued working in theater and remained connected with fans of the show. As of 2026, Karen Grassel is still alive, living a quieter life away from the spotlight, serving as a reminder of resilience and recovery. Her journey shows that even those who seem perfect on screen can face deep personal battles and still come out stronger. 3. Melissa Sue Anderson. Melissa Sue Anderson, who played the gentle and tragic Mary Ingalls, delivered one of the most emotional performances in the series, especially during her character's blindness storyline. Born in 1962, Anderson gained critical acclaim for her acting at a young age. However, unlike many of her co-stars, she chose a different path after the show ended. She gradually stepped away from Hollywood, seeking a quieter and more private life. Moving to Canada with her family, Anderson focused on raising her children and living away from the intense spotlight of fame. While she did face the challenges of transitioning out of child stardom, she managed to avoid many of the pitfalls that affected others. As of 2026, she is still alive, living peacefully and occasionally reflecting on her time in the series. Her story stands out as one of stability and conscious choice, proving that stepping away can sometimes be the healthiest decision. 4. Melissa Gilbert, forever remembered as the spirited Laura Ingalls, grew up in front of millions of viewers. Born in 1964, she became a household name at a very young age. However, child stardom came with its own set of pressures. After Little House on the Prairie, Gilbert struggled with identity, relationships, and substance use. She went through multiple marriages and faced public scrutiny throughout her life. In her candid autobiography, she opened up about her battles with addiction, emotional struggles, and even cosmetic surgery complications. Despite these challenges, Gilbert showed incredible resilience. She rebuilt her life, entered politics for a time, and became an advocate for various causes. As of 2026, she remains alive and active, occasionally appearing in media and continuing to inspire fans with her honesty and strength. Her story is one of transformation, from a child star under pressure to a woman who faced her demons and found her voice. 5. Lindsay Greenbush, one half of the twin duo who portrayed Carrie Ingalls, became famous at a very young age alongside her sister. Born in 1970, she shared the role to meet child labor laws, making Carrie one of the most recognizable children on the show. After Little House on the Prairie, Lindsay stepped away from acting and lived a relatively private life. However, like many former child stars, she faced challenges adjusting to life outside Hollywood. Reports suggest she went through personal struggles, including legal and financial difficulties at times. Despite these ups and downs, she eventually found stability and chose to stay out of the public eye. As of 2026, Lindsay Greenbush is still alive, living a quiet life away from fame. Her journey reflects the often overlooked reality of child actors who must navigate adulthood after early success. 6. Sydney Greenbush, Lindsay's identical twin and co-star in the role of Carrie Ingalls, shared the same early fame and unique experience of growing up on a hit television show. Like her sister, Sydney left acting after the series ended and chose a very different path in life. She became passionate about animals and pursued a career connected to ranching and horse care. While she avoided many of the darker aspects of Hollywood, she still experienced the emotional adjustment that comes with leaving fame behind. Sydney built a grounded and fulfilling life away from the spotlight, focusing on her personal interests and family. As of 2026, she is alive and living a peaceful life, far removed from the entertainment industry. Her story is a refreshing contrast, showing that not all child stars are defined by tragedy, but instead by the choices they make after fame fades. 7. Allison Arngrim, best known as the spoiled and often cruel Nellie Olson, became one of the most unforgettable villains in television history. Born in 1962 into a Hollywood family, success seemed almost destined for her. But while she made audiences love to hate her character, her real-life story was far more painful and complex. Behind the scenes, Allison endured a deeply traumatic childhood, later revealing that she suffered abuse within her own family, something she courageously spoke about years later. After Little House on the Prairie, she struggled to break free from being typecast as Nellie, which limited her acting opportunities. However, instead of fading away, Allison reinvented herself as a stand-up comedian and activist. She used humor and honesty to share her story, helping raise awareness about child abuse and trauma. As of 2026, Allison Arngrim is alive and continues to engage with fans, often attending conventions and sharing her journey. Her story is not one of tragedy ending in loss, but one of survival, courage, and using pain to help others heal. 8. Richard Bull, who portrayed the kind-hearted and often henpecked Nels Olson, brought warmth and quiet humor to the series. Born in 1924, Bull had a long career in film and television before joining Little House on the Prairie. His portrayal of Nels, the gentle contrast to his domineering on-screen wife Harriet, made him a fan favorite. After the show ended, he continued acting but gradually stepped away from the spotlight as he aged. Unlike some of his co-stars, Bull lived a relatively peaceful and stable life. However, in 2014, he passed away at the age of 89 due to natural causes. His death marked the loss of one of the show's most beloved supporting actors. Though his passing was not surrounded by scandal or sudden tragedy, it was still deeply felt by fans who appreciated his calm and lovable presence. Today, Richard Bull is remembered as a steady and dependable performer whose work continues to bring smiles to audiences around the world. 9. Catherine McGregor, the unforgettable Harriet Olsen, was known for her sharp tongue and commanding presence on screen. Born in 1925, she had a strong background in theater and acting before stepping into the role that would define her career. While she played a harsh and often comical antagonist, those who knew her described her as thoughtful and deeply spiritual in real life. After Little House on the Prairie, McGregor made a surprising decision. She stepped away from Hollywood almost entirely. She devoted her life to spiritual study, particularly within Hindu philosophy, and focused on teaching and personal growth. She lived a quiet and meaningful life, far removed from the fame she once had. In 2018, Catherine McGregor passed away at the age of 93. Her death was peaceful, but it marked the end of an era for fans of the show. Her transformation from a fiery on-screen personality to a spiritually devoted individual remains one of the most fascinating journeys among the cast. 10. Victor French, who played the rugged yet kind Isaiah Edwards, was one of the most emotionally impactful characters on Little House on the Prairie. Born in 1934, French had a deep passion for acting and storytelling. He shared a close friendship with Michael Landon, which extended beyond the screen and into multiple projects, including Highway to Heaven. However, like many actors of his time, French struggled with heavy smoking, a habit that would ultimately cost him his life. In the late 1980s, he was diagnosed with lung cancer. Despite undergoing treatment, his condition worsened, and he passed away in 1989 at the age of 54, the same age at which Michael Landon would later die. His death was both tragic and ironic, as he had spent years entertaining audiences with heartfelt performances. Victor French's legacy lives on through his deeply human portrayals and the emotional depth he brought to every role. 11. Kevin Hagen, remembered as the wise and dependable Dr. Hiram Baker, brought a sense of calm authority to the town of Walnut Grove. Born in 1928, Hagen had a long acting career that included numerous television appearances before joining Little House on the Prairie. His role as the town doctor made him a symbol of trust and care within the series. After the show ended, Hagen continued acting in smaller roles, but eventually slowed down as health issues began to affect him. In his later years, he battled esophageal cancer, a serious and aggressive illness. In 2005, Kevin Hagen passed away at the age of 77. His death was a reminder of the quiet struggles many actors face later in life, far from the spotlight. Though not always in the headlines, Hagen's contribution to the show was vital, and he remains a cherished part of its legacy. And there you have it, the unforgettable cast of Little House on the Prairie. Then and now, in 2026, from the inspiring life of Michael Landon to the emotional journeys of stars like Melissa Gilbert and Allison Arngrim. These stories remind us that behind every beloved character was a real person facing real struggles. Some lived long and fulfilling lives, while others left us far too soon, but each one played a role in creating something truly timeless. Even today, the legacy of Walnut Grove lives on, not just through reruns, but through the memories and emotions these actors gave to millions around the world. Their stories continue to inspire, to teach, and sometimes to remind us how fragile life can be. That if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Hollywood Secrets Information for more untold stories from the golden age of television and beyond. Let me know in the comments which cast member's story touched you the most. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.